Hey everyone, it's Erin Smith of the Starters Club, and today I'm throwing just a little bit of a challenge out on redefining life as you know it. This idea for this video came to me just a few days ago, and I'm part of a mom's group. We all have little ones, and the question in that group was posed, what are you gonna do when the kids go to school? Like, this is the time we gotta go back into the real world and be relevant again, right? And, a lot of people were like, well, I'm gonna go do this job, and, fitting themselves into this job category. And some were being very honest that they had no passion or desire to go back into that job. And I came in kind of like a quack job, and I was like, well, what do you love? What do you want to do? Like, what would you do if you could really write your own life and write your own situation where maybe you don't want to go back to work, but you want to do something? What would you do? And the sad part was that no one really had an answer. And I unfortunately believe that if you ask the majority of people this question, what are you passionate about? What do you love? They don't know the answer. And I've seen this time and time again. You see these ads all the time, make a living out of your passion. And there's so many people going, but I don't know what that even is. And it's easy because we get so involved in life, right? We get through the everydays. Let's just get through the day. Let's get through the month. Let's just get through this year. Let's get through when the kids are 5. And suddenly we lose ourselves. And we don't know, bringing us joy is paying off a credit card or being able to go to Disneyland with the kids. And granted, yes, that should absolutely make you happy, but there's more to life. There's a deep down happiness, a core, something that makes you tick. And I know for me, a lot of times we get into relationships. If that person doesn't really agree with what you love, right? You kind of just throw it to the side. I remember when I was married, we had no connection. I put me on hold for 4 years. And I remember going, after we divorced, I'm on Match.com and trying to figure out how to write my profile. Like, I had no idea. And I had to put, I like to travel and work out. I mean, what everybody writes. And I lost my identity. And for me, it happens so many times. You can't say your kids are your passion. I'm not saying you can't say you love your kids, but you were a person before you ever had kids. And you're going to be a person when your kids grow up and don't need you anymore. And if you're trying to build a life where your kids need you every day and you want to live next door to them, I would encourage you to think differently because you are a person yourself. Mother is or father is a part of your roles. It's not everything. And I'm not saying you have to start a business. I'm not saying you have to go back to work, but I'm saying even if it's volunteer work, if it's making just some extra money, really help, doing what you love. It's possible. We have to start redefining what we believe is possible and what we believe life can be and writing our own stories because it's truly, truly possible. And here's a perfect example of this, okay? So one of the things that makes me tick are animals, okay? And I created my first business around that love for animals. And when you're trying to figure out, really trying to hone in on this passion, I always encourage people to think back of when they were a kid. This was something that was introduced to me by a therapist, and it opened up so much to me in just understanding, what you do. You have limitless time, you don't need to worry about money, and you truly do what you're passionate about. So for me, it was animals. To know me is actually funny. So my sister's the kid person, and she's still to this day, she's a teacher. She loves children. That's what she does. It's completely her passion. And I really am not a kid person. I love my own kids. I'm just not fond of other people's kids typically. I love animals. I've always loved animals. And so I started this business which evolved to rescuing, which evolved to fostering, which I've rescued a ton of dogs, right? And there is nothing like, when you talk about joy, my levels, like there's a lot of things that tie up there, right? But right up there is taking a dog home from a shelter, okay? And you put him in the back of the car and this dog's looking at you like, I don't know who the hell you are, but I think this is good. And I know that I have just given that dog the golden ticket to life because I'm gonna find them the best possible home. And it gives me, you guys, it gives me so much joy. And that's when I talk about what makes you tick, what just makes you full of life and just your heart wants to burst. You're so happy doing this. So when I got pregnant, first thing, I wish I would have gotten $1 for every person that asked me, well, what are you going to do with your dogs? So this is us though. This is life, right? So not only are you I'm supposed to give up my animals, give up these things that I'm absolutely passionate about, but I'm supposed to, like George Costanza it, do the complete opposite. I'm supposed to drive them to a shelter because it's suddenly become inconvenient. And I'm supposed to put this on hold because, well, you know what, I don't know if it's gonna mesh well, and it could be icky and it could be bad. And I refused. I refused, and I said, you know, I'm gonna make this work, and I'm gonna prove to the world that it can happen. I have 6 misfit dogs that have all foster failured. It's not my ideal situation, but they're older. They've never even seen a kid in their lives, and I'm going to make this work. And is every day like super easy? Absolutely not. But you know what? My kids have learned to love animals and respect animals, and my animals have learned to appreciate my children. And they have, 2 little people that love them, 2 extra people that they didn't have before, and it works. And yet we do it all the time. We just set things aside and we just become numb in life. We could become comfortable. And if it's going to take a little extra effort, and if it's going to take a little work, we say, no, you know what? No, thank you. I'll just go for comfort. And I don't want you living that sort of life. I want you to blow out of these ideas of what you think life is, what you believe it to be. I talked about this on my podcast the other day. We set these beliefs in our system. Like for me, I shared this story. I always believed money was hard. Like I grew up on a farm. You worked your butt off for little money, and that's what I thought money was. And I remember a friend of mine, Danette, it's just this moment still sticks in my mind when she said, money's easy. Money is easy to come by. And I was like, what? No, it's not. It's hard. And yet that was her belief. And you know what? Money is very easy for her to come by. And you have to change these beliefs. To know I've written the ticket of my life. I do what I want to do. I have help, but I have my kids here with me. I don't have to be gone all day. I have the pleasure of being a parent, but living a purpose. And my purpose wasn't figured out yesterday, okay? It wasn't figured out 2 years ago. It was a path that I had to take, and I had to try certain things. I think I really like that. I always share about I love baking, and I thought at one point I had this really cool concept for a bakery, and so I took these classes, and I'm like, this isn't for me. I don't want to deal with people's weddings. I'm not that kind of drama girl. I don't want to do it for a living. And so, you know what? I tried it, and I put it to rest, and I moved on, and that's okay to do. And so I really want you to start thinking about what it is that would make you tick. Could you really do what you love? Are you living your purpose? And there's 3 different type of people who are going to watch this video. First one's going to be people who've nailed it. They've got it. Fantastic. Go help someone else figure out how to do theirs. The other person's going to be, you know what, Erin, you don't understand. You don't understand, and enter an excuse here. Maybe you don't have enough money. You don't have this. You don't have that. And you know what? All I can say to you is, fine, do your own thing, stick in your comfort zone. But I promise you, if you continue to live that life, there will be regrets when your day comes. And it's just up to you to see, do you want it badly enough? And that's really all it comes down to. And if you don't, you know what? Go for it. And the third type of people who are going to be watching this saying, you know what? Maybe you're onto something. Maybe you're right. I have been comfortable. I have put my life on hold. I've done things for everyone else. I haven't done anything for me, and I've lost that connection to who I am. I encourage you to start being open to this. Like I said, it's not like you're going to say, yeah, my passion is this. All of a sudden you're going to figure it out. But start being open to it. Start thinking about it. Just start taking a few moments every day to stop the hustle of life and to think and to be still. And write the ideas that come to you. We take for granted the ideas that come to you, but I promise you, the ideas that come to you don't come to me. They don't come to your spouse. They don't come to your friends. They come to you. Write those down and start thinking about them. Start nurturing them a little bit and saying, yeah, you know what? I've always loved that. Start thinking about your childhood. Like I told you, for me, I always had this passion for animals, and that's, one of my hardcore passions. And through life and through journeys and through figuring out, I've been able to figure out my other ones. Like for me, just to be able to help people find their dreams and find their passion, like there is just nothing that gives me greater joy. I've discovered I love speaking. I never would have figured this out had I not stepped on a stage and tried it. And I love it. And I'm slowly, I can't tell you I've got it all figured out. I know there's still a journey yet to be had, and I'm going to figure out more as I go. But I'm taking those steps to figure it out. I'm not just sitting around going, well, you know what? It's life. Because of my circumstances, this is how it's going to be. I'm going to embrace it and enjoy it. So if you're working a job that you really are not miserable, I'm not saying everybody who works in corporate or everybody who works a job is not living their passion, because you can completely do it. You can go do volunteer work. I'm not saying you have to be an entrepreneur. What I'm saying is you can redefine what's possible for you. If you want to really truly explore this and figure out what you could do off a passion, what you could do off anything that you truly love, go ahead and comment below. You can comment below. I'm gonna give you ideas, I promise you. I don't need the smart asses, so if you're gonna be a jerk, please don't even comment below. But I'm super serious about this for the people who really wanna try to figure this out. I will pull in my entrepreneur friends. They don't know this yet, but we will figure this out for you and give you some ideas. And I'm not saying these ideas are gonna be super easy, like you're gonna be rich the next day. It's gonna take some work. It's just a matter of how bad do you want this fulfilled life. I hate to use that term because it's so cliche, but how bad do you want this? Do you want something more? And for me, my tipping point came from my kids. I couldn't look my kids in the eye and say I wanted the life I was living for them. And I knew I had to make a change to be that example for them. And for me, that's what just drove me over the edge to go full force with finding this passion and finding this dream and truly living it. So if you are, like I said, if you are interested in saying, you know what, let me try to figure this out. Like I said, comment below. I'm here to help you. I really, truly want to help you. I challenge you to go down, give some ideas. And like I said, I'm going to pull in some friends. We're going to give you 2 to 3 different ideas of what you could do for a business. And I promise you, you just do whatever. Like I said, I don't need smart asses though, okay? So again, this is Erin Smith, where I believe everyone's got it in to start a business. You just have to get started.